Good evening, and welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting of February 10th, 2014. We have a short agenda this evening, so I'll get right into it. And the first agenda item is to review the draft 2014 annual town meeting warrant, and we'll order the articles. Okay, now, the warrant, which will be mailed to all townspeople, each residence, I imagine. Will go out when, Dave? When does that get sent out? Greer?
It would be the first week in March.
First week in March?
The board will execute it at their next meeting on the 24th of February, and then it will go out at the beginning of March.
Good, thank you, Greer.
So they get it in time for the March 17th open hearing?
Yes.
Good, thank you. Now, what we will do this evening is we have a list of 25 warrant articles right now for town meeting, 10 of which are special warrant articles, and the other 15 are somewhat reoccurring and housekeeping matters. So let me read these very quickly. Number one, the requester of the Selectmen to hear and act on the committee reports for 2013 annual report. Number two, the assessors, and this is a recurring real estate tax exemption in fiscal 15 for those who qualify. Number three is the Selectmen's recurring set salaries for elected officials for the ensuing fiscal year. Number four, another recurring Selectmen warrant article, which is Article 4, which is the operating budget, salaries, expenditures by departments for fiscal 15. Number 5 is your Article 5, capital expenditures. Number 6 is the funding of the unemployment compensation fund. Number 7, another recurring article, payment of accumulated sick leave to retired police officers. Number 8, the annual state-funded highway construction projects. Number 9, which is another recurring, it is the revolving funds for the building department, Board of Health, the Dover School Committee, and the library. Number 10, which is our first special warrant article from the assessors, is the funding for a property revaluation. Number 11, another special warrant article from the Selectmen, funding for the Protective Agency Building Dispatch reconfiguration. Number 12, a special warrant article from the Conservation Commission, is to amend the bylaws pursuant to the wetland protection. Number 13, another special one from the Concom, is to reestablish the Conservation Commission Trust Fund. Number 14, a special article from, a special warrant article from the Recycling Committee, and to amend a certain of the Dover bylaws. Okay, excuse me. Number 15, and the next two are from the Dover Sherburne Regional School Committee, and they both have to do with paying for capital improvements in fiscal 15. And we'll discuss one way a little farther down the line tonight through the intermunicipal agreement, or to allow the school to raise debt. I imagine was the other one. Okay, number 17, special warrant article from the Minuteman Regional Vocational School, and that's to amend the district agreement. Number 18, from Council Agent, which is another special article, is to establish a sinking fund to act on future development. Number 19, a special warrant article from the Planning Board, which is to adopt zoning bylaws to regulate medical marijuana. And we're back onto reoccurring articles in the Warrant Committee, which is a reserve fund. Number 21 from the Warrant Committee, unpaid bills for prior year. Number 22 from the Warrant Committee, supplemental appropriations to Article 4. Number 23 from the Warrant Committee, transfer from free cash to reduce the tax rate. Number 24 from the Selectmen, supplement the Dover Stabilization Fund. And last but not least, number 25, an annual recurring article from town clerk, listing of elected officials. So, that is the 25 warrant articles as we know right now. Now, we have them generically listed right now. Do you suggest any changes, Carol or Robin, to the way they are ordered right now?
Well, I like the fact that coincidentally, we have the Protective Agencies building up front.
Okay.
It's the second optional warrant article, so I think that's a good thing.
Okay. I don't see any glaring reasons to change it
Oh, me
beyond
neither.
that right now.
No?
Okay, then, Dave, do we have to act on this right now, then we'll review the warrant and as numbers get tighter? Obviously, on February 24th, we'll sign the warrant, and it'll be sent out.
David, will we have some numbers to insert by the 24th, just for our own information?
You may have additional numbers, yes.
Okay, good.
Since John is here from the warrant committee, I assume the $250,000 for the free cash has been vetted and that's the recommendation.
It hasn't come up as a formal discussion item, but I think it would be safe to, I think we have been comfortable for several years at that level, and I don't anticipate it being changed, but at some point it may be, but I don't anticipate that this year.
Okay. So does warrant vote on this from now until the 24th to make, so that we know it's $250,000?
No. The warrant article itself is generic, it doesn't list an amount.
Okay.
That will come later in the whole revenue discussion in the Budget Balancing Act.
So this is just for informational purposes?
Yeah, that was just, yes,
No,
exactly.
just-
As we start thinking about free cash and
Okay, all right.
that kind of stuff, yeah.
That's where I got confused. I thought it was going to be listed in the warrant article, so I apologize.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about the reserve fund 250 also. So. Okay, any other comments on this list right now? No? Okay, we'll revisit this in our next meeting. Our next agenda item is to execute an intermunicipal agreement between the towns of Dover and Sherburne, the Board of Selectmen. Now, this particular issue has been talked about for the last 3 years, I believe, and it came up originally due to the middle school air conditioning project. And we sat in a meeting some 3 years ago, and we talked about the serious need for the middle school to get a new air conditioning program. And then, as we're sitting with the Sherburne Selectmen, quite frankly, we knew the financial considerations from both towns are different. So the discussion centered on how can we, both towns, pay for it as we wish. And it's done through an intermunicipal agreement between the towns of Dover and Sherburne. Now, the reason it's taken a while and why we didn't get it done for last year's middle school HVAC program is because Sherburne wasn't comfortable with the lawfulness of this agreement. And Superintendent Bliss has done a great job, along with his staff, in getting the Sherburne Board of Selectmen up to speed and comfortable with this lawful agreement. Now, the reason we are entering it into this year is because the Regional School Committee has come up with a 20-year or so capital improvement plan to the campus. And next year, I believe it's in the tune of $315,000, which Dover will pay roughly half, more or less a percentage point, about half. So we're going, Sherburne Board of Selectmen have executed this agreement, and our intent this evening is for Dover Selectmen to execute this agreement whereby it will give Dover an ability to pay for it whether we decide free cash, and Sherburne can pay for it however they wish. That being said, that's a long-winded explanation, I think, but that's my understanding of it. Anyone have any comments?
So just to be clear, each year, do we evaluate whether and how we want to pay for any capital items? And each year, we need to re-execute
Well, that's a
the
good
municipal
point.
agreement?
This is
Based on how
clearly-
this is drafted,
Right.
yes, this is a
That's what
one-year
it appears,
agreement.
right.
You know, you'd love to make this maybe a longer term, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to sign this every year, to have exact dollar amounts in it.
No, I
And
agree.
Sherburne being comfortable, I know we're comfortable with it. But I was a little surprised when it went to the annual agreement, but it is what it is at this point.
Works.
Yeah.
It works. I had a discussion with, well, first I'd like to particularly thank Peter Caruso, who is Chair of the Sherburne Board of Selectmen, for finally getting this done. And he was instrumental in getting the questions answered and working with Steve Bliss in getting the various attorneys to really educate the other selectmen in Sherburne on the validity of this. So I'd like to thank Peter. And also the Regional School Committee, who authorized Steve Bliss, the superintendent, to spend the time on this issue.
Yeah, that's a good point also.
So it was really a team effort with Peter and Steve, and I know Dana White and Richard Robertson were also involved in doing this. So Peter's view was that, my concern was that we would have to have this debate that we've had for the last 3 years, every year, about whether this is valid and so forth and so on, and we didn't want to get into that. And, he assured me that that the one-year term of it was done because they felt more comfortable, to your point, of having a document that very specifically says, for fiscal year X, we will be spending Y. And that they were not inclined to open up debate again
Okay.
on the validity of this. So hopefully that'll be the case.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Any other comments on that?
No, having been on the regional school committee and, having tried to understand the merits of this, I really thank the regional school committee, Steve Bliss, the Sherburne Selectmen, because I think this is a win-win for both towns.
Yes. Well, then I will make the motion that we execute the intergovernmental agreement between the town of Dover, the town of Sherburne, and the Dover-Sherburne Regional School District. Do I hear a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
3 copies.
3 copies.
Yes, thank you.
Was that for 2 people, Carol? You're aye. Quite vocal. Like a little sticky seal.
I was just saying, look at that one.
So according to this, our number will be 171,454.50. 54.43%. Because that would be another reason to have a one-year contract, because that number change, that percentage
That
changes every year.
changes.
Right. I mean, you would then, this is a much cleaner way to do
Yeah.
it.
Well, that made a lot of sense to us 3 years ago, and I don't think they've wavered,
No.
on the lawfulness of it. And it speaks volumes to Mr. Blitz's leadership
That
in
it does.
getting it done.
And Mr. Caruso's.
Mr.
Yeah,
Caruso,
and
yes,
Mr.
thank you.
Here we go.
Okay, great, you have all three?
Yes.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to review the ambulance rates and accounts receivable write-offs. Each year, Terry Lane, who is our treasurer collector, opines to the board what the rate should be, and we're reading that as we speak. Okay, Mr. Lane has recommended that the board leave the rates at the current levels for 2014. Now, the town's past practice has been set the rate to at least 110% of the Medicare rate. The current rates are at or above that level. Okay, that's what Mr. Lane's reasoning is. I concur with that. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I concur. It's a good practice.
Okay, then I'll make the motion that we keep our 2014 ambulance rates the same as last year.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Good, thanks. Do we all sign that?
Just for you, Jim.
To continue on this same agenda item, we have accounts receivable write-offs. Okay, it's the town's practice to abate ambulance bills as uncollectible if there's been no activity in the account for 2.5 years. Okay, based on this particular practice, Mr. Lane is requesting that the board abate 11 bills for $7,028.43. One running back to 2009, and the most recent being June of 2011, so they're both past 2.5 years.
Well, Jerry has done a wonderful job over the last couple of years of cleaning this up. I remember when we had like $40,000.
It looked like real money.
I remember that too, and I was on the warrant committee.
Yep.
Okay. Any other thoughts or comments on this? I'll make the motion that we write off $7,028.43 as uncollectible ambulance receivable.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Thank Mr. Lane for all his hard work. Okay, we continue to look at the Selectmen's capital budget requests, and that's our next agenda item. Okay. Who wants to take this? David, please.
Mr. Chairman, we're finally ready to formalize and finally vote the entire capital budget. My apologies for the rather long delay in getting to this final stage. What we were waiting for is revised figures on the library carpeting. We had originally budgeted $30,000 and presented that to the board in the fall, but because of a change in the quality of the carpeting that we're calling for now, and a change in the scope in terms of other items to be included in that expense, we're now asking for $60,000 and suggesting that it be pushed out to fiscal 16 to better work with the interior painting at the library that's also in the capital budget.
Okay. Now, when you say, I think you said final, well, we still have one pricing to be determined, which is the rehab the 2 public restrooms in the community
I stand corrected, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Hopefully we'll have those numbers for you.
good. I think it's important that those 2 restrooms, or at least those 2 restrooms, get done. It's what our council on aging and our tenants over in that building. Okay. And I'm in agreement that I'd like to do all the library in a big picture movement rather than piecemeal, a section this year and a section next year.
Well, it also makes sense to paint and then carpet.
And as I'm looking at the out years, we were at the Mass Muni meeting a couple weeks ago, and it struck me when I remembered the repair and painting of the apparatus floor in the protective agency building. And they have a new product that really, it's basically 2x2 squares, and the non-slip, and they just get put down. It's sort of a hard rubberized product. And about $6 a square foot, I still remember that. I meant to ask you how many square feet they're gonna do.
I don't have a clue, Mr. Chairman.
And I also think it was a lifetime
Lifetime,
warranty.
yeah.
Lifetime warranty.
Right.
So, okay, now that being said, since we do have a to-be-determined number in fiscal 2015, should we just vote on the first two, or how do you want to proceed?
The capital budget committee would appreciate that vote on what we have, because we're in the process of doing the Blue Book write-ups on those items that have been approved and so forth, so that would help us move along with the process.
Okay. So, we just have to vote on the fiscal 15, correct? Yeah. So I'll make the motion that the first, which is the Carroll Community Center, the air conditioning for the new COA space in the amount of $15,000. And the second is the Protective Agencies Building Dispatch Reconfiguration Construction in the amount of $455,000.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Good.
Great.
I think I would like to mention, there was a very good article in the Dover Sherborne Press where there were interviews done of the dispatcher and the police department, and had a lot of very good and factual information regarding the reconfiguration. And I would encourage people to try get a copy of the article. It is available online. It's really a great educational piece and very factual.
That was the article done by Maureen Sullivan
Right.
on in the January 30th.
Right.
Yeah, it was a great article.
It was very,
Yeah.
very good.
You scrapbooking now?
I am.
You know,
Town meeting folder.
I found it online, so it is
Yeah.
available online. If
Yep.
people just go to Dover Sherborne Press, Wicked Local.
Okay, we're done with our capital budget requests, and next time we'll revisit that. We'll probably look at the numbers for the restrooms at Carroll Community Center.
Yeah, we did. Just make sure this gets.
Okay. And the next agenda item is appointments, excuse me. And I have one this evening. Does anyone else have an appointment for this evening? Okay. Open Space Committee has asked me to appoint Richard Wood of Claybrook Road to one of the spaces in the Open Space Committee. And I believe that is a 3-year appointment. Let me just confirm that. Yes, it is a 3-year term. Okay, so I'll make the motion to appoint Richard Wood, Claybrook Road, to the Open Space Committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. I'm at a loss, but it's not the first time. Okay.
Sorry, that's the name of my new daughter's baby, Richard Wood.
Oh, well, congratulations on the new granddaughter.
Wood.
Boy, oh.
It's going to be a boy, Richard Wood.
Oh,
Clearly the second or the third.
that's a small world. Okay, let me move along to other business on the agenda, and that's surplus equipment.
Only in municipal government would we be taking a vote on ink cartridges that have been used.
I thought this was given to me.
This is a joke.
Quite honestly.
Has to be done.
Okay, no, right, okay. So we
But they are
have,
going to be recycled,
Yes.
good,
so
That's right.
okay, so we have to vote to,
recycled.
Declare this equipment as surplus.
thank you. I'll make the motion to declare the equipment for Mr. Clark of our IT guru as surplus equipment, and he wants to recycle those in the transfer station.
I think for the record, we should say it's 32
Well, I-
cartridges, just in case anybody's questioning. I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I actually, when I picked this out, I said, geez, someone just put this in.
I
my
know, it's gotta be a
folder.
joke. Oh, my goodness.
Okay. Reserve fund transfer is the next item on the agenda, and that's from the Board of Selectmen. In the amount of $3,000, and the request is to cover the difference between what is budgeted in fiscal 2014 for 2 part-time grade 4 administrative assistants and a full-time grade 8 administrative assistants. And if you recall our last meeting, we voted to accept Felicia Hoffman as our new administrative assistant. And so this is what this is entailing, $3,000 for the remainder of the fiscal year. Okay. Any questions or thoughts on this?
Do we need to vote?
I imagine yes, it's a reason, yeah. So I'll make the motion that we approve the $3,000 reserve fund transfer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You want me to just give this to John right now?
Are you okay with that, Mrs. Pugach?
Or do you want a
I
copy?
will put it in the box in the
Okay.
I make a copy for the accountant so she can track it, or
Okay.
after the meeting.
Actually-
That's fine, we have a meeting tomorrow evening,
Right.
just to clean it up.
I'll make sure I-
That's why I wanted to give it to you, yeah.
I'll get it to you right after the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, as we move swiftly along, and I did say 7:06, by the way, at the end of the meeting, and
Yeah.
so I have to really get wordy here in the next few.
I have a comment on the minutes.
Well, our next agenda item is to approve the January 23rd, 2014 meeting minutes that, Robin, please, what comments do you
So
have?
on line 83, I think we should change the spelling of Denise Garlick's name.
Ah,
We can certainly do that.
There's a spell check. Auto-correcting for you. I always laugh when it does that kind of stuff to me.
yeah. I made a couple of changes this afternoon. Okay, looks like my change is in there. Okay, I'll make the motion to accept the meeting minutes with the one change to Representative Garlick's last name spelling of January 23rd, 2014.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So now we need about 5 minutes of citizens' comments.
That would be up to Mr. Cohen.
Donna, you gonna sing, do a dance?
Was there a wager on the game, 7:06? I can go on for 10 or 15 minutes.
John, the warrant committee's been very busy lately. Do you have anything to speak on behalf from the warrant committee? You happy with how everything's going right now?
Well, everything's going well. I mean, it's as usual by this time of the year, there's an element of controlled chaos about the whole thing, but it's actually a good thing. We've had town departments and everybody's been very good about giving information to us and presenting, and school systems. We've done the Dover local school system review of FY15 proposed budget, and that was a very good meeting, and we've got the regional budget coming up on Thursday this week. So we're on, I think we're in a good place, given what time of the year it is, and, we're looking forward to a productive and perhaps a busy and full, open hearing on March
Good.
17th.
17th. Now, the Thursday evening meeting, it's in Sherburne, right? Regarding the regional budget?
No, that meeting will be at the middle school library.
Oh, okay.
Which is where the regional school committee meets. So that one will be at the library, at the middle school library on Thursday.
So, do you know-
7?
I believe they start their meetings at 6:30. That's how we've posted it for the warrant committee.
So do you know if the regional budget is done? Or you won't know until then?
They have not voted on it, they discussed it, and we reviewed it at their regional school committee meeting, which was last Tuesday evening. I think that they are very close to being prepared to vote on their budget.
Good, so Chicken's done, so we'll wait for a region. Good, so things are, the circle's getting tighter. Very good, thank you, John. Well, with that being said, no further citizens' comments. I will entertain a motion for adjournment at 7:06.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much, good night now.
I'm going to fill air.